What's good, Cowboy Nation? This is your boy, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy, and this is the Real Talk Cowboy Show. Welcome. Tonight we have a decent lineup for you all. I have Stargazer. She'll be joining me soon, and we're going to talk about the draft and much more. How you all doing out there? And welcome. I'm your boy, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy, and I'm your new and upcoming Dallas Cowboy content creator here on your social media waves. If you all do me a favor, like and share. Once again, like and share this live. Invite all the people into this, what I call the Grown and Sexy Cigar Lounge. Here in the Grown and Sexy Cigar Lounge, I want you to come in, have a seat, get your cigars ready, your drink of choice, relax, and let's talk this football talk, this Dallas Cowboy football talk, folks. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Happy Tuesday to you all. Hey, look, I noticed last time that I stated that I have a new platform, which was oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank here, you all. Was on podcast, right? I'm on podcast, but guess what? Now your boy, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy, is on Patreon. So you all go over there on Patreon and follow me over there. I have content over there as well. But for a subscription of $5, you would get some exclusive footage and news and content that no other platform that I'm on will see. Just for $5 a month, you get that exclusive content over there in Patreon. So go over there and search for Mr. Real Talk Cowboy and follow me. It's free to follow me. You'll get content over there as well. But for $5 a month, you will get exclusive content that no other platforms that I'm on will get. So go over there and follow me. So if you're on Facebook, IG, Twitter, TikTok, go follow your boy, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy, right? I appreciate you all. Again, like, share, comment. Like I always say, I'm your host and you all are my co-hosts, right? So tonight, again, we'll be talking with Stargazer. And we're going to talk about, we're going to have draft recap with her, as well as talking about, I'm a little tongue-tied tonight, right? But we're going to talk about anything else that we have on our mind to talk about or bring you that we feel is beneficial to you all here about our beloved Dallas Cowboys. Again, welcome to the Grown and Sexy Cigar Lounge. Come in, have a seat, relax, and let's talk this Dallas Cowboy football talk. And once again, I'm your host, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy, the newest and latest upcoming Dallas Cowboy content creator on your social media waves. That's right. And as I stated earlier, that I am now on Patreon. Again, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy is on Patreon. Y'all go on over there and follow me over there. And like as I stated as well, it's free to follow me. You'll get content over there as well. But if you want that exclusive content, footage, etc., you can subscribe for $5 a month. That's right, just $5 a month. And you will get that exclusive content. I don't know about you all, but I am so excited and I can't wait till the football season starts. I cannot wait. Time is just going by so slow. Like after the draft, in between the draft and the practices leading up to preseason, it just seems like it's so long. And if you look back, it seemed like it's so fast between the Super Bowl and the draft. I know during that time, you'll feel like, man, this is slow. It's nothing to look at or do. But to me, it seemed like it's so fast looking back on it. But here comes this slow part that just drives me crazy. I feel like it just drags on. from after the draft until practices start to gear up to preseason games. I can't wait. And not to jump into the content that we're gonna give you all tonight, but I feel like we had a pretty solid draft. It wasn't sexy as Mike McCarthy stated, but hey, I think our first round was needed. We haven't been able to stop the run in a while, and if you think back over the last two playoff games, um, against the Rams and then against the 49ers, we could have used a great defensive tackle to plug that middle, because back when the Rams played us 2 years ago, they had their way running all over us, right? And so just, excited to get Mizey Smith in. I feel one of the strongest defensive linemen in the draft this year. If you all haven't seen, I posted on some of my social media platforms where him bench pressing was very impressive. And he was the only one that got that many reps with that amount of weight on it, right? And so, yeah, I'm just so excited. I can't wait. Can't wait to my girl Stargazer join us. She is a Dallas Cowboy content creator as well. And she's not just watching and looking. She knows her stuff, you all. Yes, she knows her stuff, and that's what I like about her. She's not just talking the talk, but she knows exactly what she's talking about. Hey, if you all haven't already done so, go follow her on her social media platforms. It's Stargazers Sports. Again, that's Stargazer Sports. And also, if you haven't followed me, please do so. Mr. Real Talk Cowboy on all your social media platforms. And also, as I stated, the Real Talk Cowboy Show on your podcast, on any of the platforms you receive your podcast from. Go search, follow, and subscribe to that platform. And also now on Patreon, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy, going over there to Patreon and follow and subscribe for $5 a month, where you will receive exclusive footage and content that none of the other followers will receive. Because of your $5 donation a month, you will receive exclusive content. Yes. Yes, you will receive exclusive content. We're going up here and see. Again, thank you all for watching and tuning in. I appreciate every one of you for tuning in. Again, please go subscribe to all of my social media platforms, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy. Why my hat seem like it's crooked? Maybe it's the way this camera and I'm sitting right. But yeah, let's go on with the show. And like I said, Stargazer will be joining us soon. But yeah, so one thing I bring up, them Philadelphia Eagles love picking on Micah Parsons. I believe he was at a game and he had a Philly jersey on. I can't remember what type of Philly jersey. I don't know if it was a football jersey. I wouldn't think so. Maybe so. I don't know. I just remember glancing through that, and they was like, "Oh, he wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle fan so bad, and this and that." They want that man so bad. Every time he do something, he can be in Philly going to a game, and they will mention, "Hey, he wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle fan." Hey, Eagles, calm down. Calm down. You won your first Super Bowl, and it took you almost 60 years to win that. And now you think you're the stuff. You just went and lost. So eat some humble pie, sit down and relax. Yes, you did make it further than our beloved Dallas Cowboys, but hey, You're just the first to be last, right? You lost. You didn't win. I give it to you. Yes, you didn't win your Super Bowl within the last 10 years. And my Cowboys haven't won since 1996. Okay, I get it. But guess what? You had all of those years to catch up and you couldn't, right? So shut up and sit down. Yes, that's to all of you Philadelphia Eagles, Sheagles, whatever you call yourself, right? I'm tired of you all picking on us. We run the show. Yes, we may not had a Super Bowl within the last 10 years, but hey, we run the NFC East. And don't you forget that, right? But yeah, they love picking on my boy Michael Parsons, right? But I don't know if you all have listened in and saw where Michael Parsons is going to be playing decent defensive end. That's going to be his permanent spot right now. He is not with the team. He is out training on his own and from my understanding, gaining some muscle so that he can effectively play the position he want to play, and that's defensive end. With the pickup of Overshawn, I feel like we should be good. The defensive tackle we picked up, Mozzie Smith, he will be able to create enough attention that it would allow Parson and Overshawn and the rest of the team to go in and do what they need to do, right? And so I'm just so ecstatic, and I can't wait to our season start, right? And also, again, not to jump in front of the show, but I remember when we were going through the draft live, I went and looked up after picking up that tight end in the second round. I went and looked and saw where they had already placed him as the starting tight end. What do you all feel about that? What do you all feel that how do you all feel them placing that rookie tight end as the starting tight end? I'm going to tell you my feeling is that I was good with Ferguson, right? And I kind of didn't like, and I still don't like, you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. I don't think we needed a tight end at the second round. But then again, I also don't know the plans uh, that the Dallas Cowboys have for running their plays. They could go to the three set tight end, like they once were running. And so like I don't know. And so, like I said, I can not like something, but also once I'm proven wrong or proven why they done what they done, then I'm able to change my mind, right? And so, but I didn't like that second pick. And then I also felt maybe this was their guy, right? But I also felt if you knew you was going to pick a tight end, why not trade up and get the best tight end of that position? Again, this is just my thought process and my feelings. Maybe they felt like this was the best tight end for their offense, right? Because every player is not for every offense, and I have to come to understanding of that. So me wanting, let's see, Michael Myers, right? He might not have fit our offense. So that's why maybe they didn't, trade up to get him. But me knowing what we've done in the off season has helped calm me down, first of all, because I'll be like, what are you doing? Right. But those two big off season transactions were needed, and it showed me that our front office and JJ, who is Jerry Jones, I call him JJ, um, wants to win, right? He wants to win, and he wants to win now. Um, I guess I'm one of those ones that's been spoiled. Born in 1980, born a Dallas Cowboy fan because my daddy was a Dallas Cowboy fan. My mama was a Dallas Cowboy fan. So I had no choice, right? And even if I had a choice, I would still be a Dallas Cowboy fan. But I didn't see the back-to-back Super Bowls, how we were good in the 90s. It's just spoiled me, right? But I want more. I want another one, right? And I know a lot of people say, hey, your thinking is stinking. Like every season, I expect my boys I expect and want them to make it to the Super Bowl, right? And of course, that doesn't happen, but my expectation is set high. Why is it set high? Because I know what my franchise has been through. Some people haven't been to a Super Bowl at all, right? But for your team to dominate the way they did in the 90s and went to multiple Super Bowls, it messes with your, I ain't gonna say messes with you, but your expectation becomes different than some teams that haven't been there at all, right? And like I said, some teams only have one Super Bowl, some teams have none. But yeah, just that, my expectation every year is high. And of course, once the season goes on and you see how they plan, you'll get a feeling of like where they are, where they're going to be, if they're capable. And then sometimes you can't even see that because your team could be playing just holding on, right? But once they make it to that playoffs, it's a different story. Um, it's a different story, right? Um, hey, Stargazer, I'm so sorry that different time zones. Please forgive me. I should have said Eastern Standard Time. Um, but I think you're over there in the Central Standard Time. Please forgive me. Um, but yeah, you know, I lost my train of thought, right? But my expectations are set high, and like I was saying, you know, your team can like just be holding on by a thread, but make it into that the playoff games. Every team is 0-0, and your team gets more adrenaline. The thought process change, and they become a better team. Sometimes, I think back to that year when the Giants ended up beating the Patriots um, for the Super Bowl. They wasn't all that good during the regular season, but when they got in the playoffs, man, they were a totally different team. So just because not so good in the regular season, but if you could just make that playoffs, anything can happen, right? Anything could happen. So yeah, like I said, my expectations may be high, um, but I'm a realist, and once the season starts, you know, I will get a feel of what's going on and what my team will look like this year. But yeah, I just feel like we have put a lot of great pieces together, like I said, with the off season as well as with the draft. Um, I'm still wondering how long it's going to take Tony Pollard to return back to his normal self and get out there and continue doing what he was doing before his injury against the 49ers, right? So I'm waiting to see that. Um, Yeah, so I'm just waiting to see that. But once he comes back, like we have the I have Deuce Vaughn for the running back. He's a fast speedster. Him back there with the other pickups that we got, um, excuse me, during the off seasons to help with the running back room. Excuse me. I think we'll be okay, right? I think we'll be okay. Um, I know people been asking me, "Hey, how do you feel about them cutting Zeke?" Um, I would say this, man. Um, Zeke has been taking a pounding for quite some time now. Since he's been in the league, man, he's been a hard runner for us. I mean, doing the necessary things to get yards, touchdowns, and help our team win, right? So it like any running back, man, that's been in the league for quite some time and running the way he does, takes a beating, right? He's taking a beating. Of course, he's not younger anymore. He has lost a step with his speed, but I still feel that he can get you that short yardage that you need, at 1 or 2 yardage. Um, also feel that down there on the goal line, he can get you that touchdown. Um, With Tony Pollard, he's much smaller. So me, if I was of offensive coordinator, I wouldn't call too many plays with him trying to stuff the middle coming out of the backfield, um, unless you feel like you have a darn good line that's gonna, win at the point of attack and push to get him in there. But you know, me personally, I would be, going to those outsides and those three tight end sets, tosses on the outside because he's so quick. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Like I said, we got rid of Kellen Moore. Um, and now we have a new offensive coordinator coming from Seattle Seahawks. So we'll see how this goes. Like I said, I'm just so excited and I can't wait until the season starts. I can't wait. So you all talk to me. I see you all watching from YouTube, from Facebook. How you all feeling out there? And of course, yes, I see that my my little pains hasn't changed yet because when I started off, it was Real Talk Cowboy, but I have changed it now. It's Mr. Real Talk Cowboy. So I have to make those changes. And matter of fact, let me hit my graphic designer up right now and say, hey, what's going on? I need that stuff changed ASAP. Oh, let's see. Overlays. I keep calling them panes. It's overlays. Yeah, so I just sent my graphic designer a message saying I need that ASAP. So by the next time I go live, the correct information will be on the screen. Yes, been a little busy here lately. Just doing some back end stuff. We're getting Patreon ready, and things like that. So yeah, and yeah, but I'm back, you all. Had to get that straight. I'm looking down at the bottom and I see my old handles, social media handles down there. And I'm like, that is not right. I had changed it to Mr. Real Talk Cowboy. But yeah, I'm back. Again, I see you all watching YouTube, Facebook. You all talk to me. Tell me where you watching from. Where you watching Mr. Real Talk Cowboy from? Of course, I'm here in Virginia. Yes, I'm close to Washington, D.C. DC stands for Dallas Cowboys. I do not like the Washington Commanders, Redskins, Wolverines, Washington football team, whatever their name is. I do not like them. I'm a diehard Cowboy fan. Um, but yeah, it's all fun. It is all fun. I think the rival with the fans makes football even more fun than what it is, right? I argue all the time with my family members that are Commander fans. Of course, we never see eye to eye, and they always got some kind of something to say, just like those Beagle fans. I mean, Eagle fans. They're starting to smell themselves and are taking shots at us because they didn't win a Super Bowl now, and then also went to the Super Bowl last year but didn't win. But let me say this, right? Um, I like I said, here in this show, I keep it 100, no watered down content, right? I would say this. I love what the Eagles franchise front office is doing. I love it. They're putting the pieces around Jalen Hurts to succeed. And in the draft, even though they just came from losing a Super Bowl, you would have thought they didn't even go to the Super Bowl last year with all the moves, the trade, and everything they were doing during the draft. Like it showed that they won it, right? And they're just doing something that every organization should look at. Like, hey, let's put pieces around it, right? Let's invest. If we going to invest this big money in our quarterback, we need to put pieces around them, right? And that's why I was upset with JJ in the front office, not last year, but the year before when they let Amari Cooper go. I felt that you telling Dak, hey, we trust you, we want you here, we believe in you, and we're going to win with you. But then you take weapons away from him instead of adding. They took him away and never put anybody to replace him. Um, I just thought that was so crazy, right? But hey, JJ and the boys have redeemed themselves. They're starting to put pieces around him, not only on offense, but on defense as well, right? So hey, you all out there, let me know how the quality of the sound is. I want to check that out, right? Let me know the quality of the sound. But yeah, so to me, they're starting to put the pieces around Dak and the whole entire team, right? Not just only on offense, but on defense as well. So that's what I do like, and I commend the front office for doing so because I was very upset with them when they let Amari Cooper go for little or nothing. And you can't tell me it was about the money because we had money, right? So yeah, that's just my thought process on that one there. Yep. Yeah. So can't wait to football season. You all tell me, where do you see us? What do you see us doing this year? Do you see us making the playoffs? Do you see us making the Super Bowl? Do you see us not making the playoffs? And if you say you don't see us making the playoffs, something is wrong with you. And why I say something is wrong with you, I question your fanship, right? Because we're supposed to believe no matter what. Now, if you really, really concerned and don't believe, then we need to talk about that. I want to get your perspective and why you feel the way you feel. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is entitled to their opinion. We're never going to look at you any different for having your own opinion. But I would want to just understand better, why do you think or feel the way you do? Um, Again, because I feel that um, we should always think or feel our beloved Dallas Cowboys are going to do great things, right? And if you don't feel that way, I want your honest opinion and why you feel the way you feel, right? Like I said, this is the Grown and Sexy Lounge, and we respect everybody's opinion. We'll even respectfully respect any Commanders, Eagles, Giants, or any other team, right? We'll talk about it because we love football, right? We still don't mean that we like their team, but we can agree to disagree, right? Yeah, we can agree to disagree. We're grown men and women that love football, and it so happened that we root for different teams. I got something for you all, and I'm pretty sure my boy, my cousin, my fam, Mr. Pierre Johnson, he'll be on here soon checking in. He's a Commanders fan. And this question is driven off of what he always say to me. If I'm going to root for the Dallas Cowboys, I need to go live down there in Dallas, Texas. Why I had to pick a team so far away? It's not the home team. This and that. I need somebody to show me the rules of being a football team fan and show me where it says you have to be the home team fan. Wherever you live at, you have to pick the closest team to you to be a fan. Because that is bull shakalak or whatever you want to call it. It's nowhere stated. They only use that against us. I know I'm from Virginia, and we have several people that are Eagle fans, other team fans, but you will never see a Commander fan go to an Eagle fan and say, "Hey, why don't you move to Philly if you want to be a Philadelphia Eagle fan? You supposed to pick the home team and you went and picked the Eagles." You don't hear them saying none of that. But let it be a Dallas Cowboy fan, and that's the first card they will want to pull against us. Why don't you go down there and live in Texas since you want to be a Dallas Cowboy fan? I don't want to hear that. Make up something else and stop using that same old dragged out excuse driven hit that you try to tick on us for being Dallas Cowboy fans. And Mr. Pierre Johnson, I hope you're watching. And if you're not watching yet, when you get on, I hope you go back and watch it. This one's for you, buddy. What are your Commanders going to do this year? Talk to me. Hey, maybe my next show or the show after, I'm going to do a raffle and give away one of these cups. I use this cup all the time, especially on my shows. You know, it has the top where you can slide it up and down. It's real good. And as you can see, I'm in the Grown and Sexy Lounge and I'm sipping on some tea. Sipping on some tea. Sipping on some tea. Yes, sipping on some tea out of my cowboy cup. Yep.
Real talk. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. Old as you is.
Mm-hmm. Real talk. You got to be, should be ashamed of yourself. Sipping on some tea on a Tuesday night on the Real Talk Cowboy Show. But yeah, you know, I just have fun with the guys talking smack about football. You know, I know a big thing coming up too is that a lot of players, well, not a lot, but several players have been busted for betting. That's becoming a real big thing now, you know. They want to get in on them bets, and it's very tempting. But of course, you know, you playing for the league, you can't do that because, you know, you just can't do that. It's the rules. So yeah.
It's Mr. Nasty kind.
That's right. That's right. You can't do that. As the man says, Mr. Nasty time. Leave that to the fans to bet. And I tell you right now, I'm going to be endorsing a betting app here soon. But real talk, I don't like betting because I don't like losing money, right? So I just don't like putting up money. I know that I will want to win the money. That's just like lottery. I will want to win the money, but I just don't want to lose any money. And look, we have Stargazer coming on in. I'm going to add her up here and wait for her to come on. Well, yeah, I know you have to play in order to win, and I just don't like losing money, right? So I don't know, folks. Y'all bear with me as I try to find a way to bet without losing my money, but also win,
Hello.
right? Stargazer, how you doing?
Good. I'm trying to figure out why it's not showing my camera.
Okay.
Y'all give me a second. Oh, I know why. It's because it's on my.
There you
Hey,
go.
how everybody?
Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey.
hey, how's everybody doing?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you good. You good. When I was on here and I saw your text, I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot to tell
Yeah,
her.
we didn't. Yeah, I went through, checked their messages. I was like, we never talked about the time zone, but that's okay. I'm here now. Hey, everybody, how you guys doing?
Yes,
Let
welcome.
me.
Welcome, Stargaze. I told everyone that is watching so far about you'll be joining, and I'll let you, give your own proper introduction, and shout out your Cash App, your social media platform, so everyone can follow. Okay, so go ahead, you
Okay.
have the floor.
100%. Hey guys, my name is Stargazer. Um, my platform is Stargazer Sports, but I'm Stargazer, but I just go by Star for short. You guys can follow me. I'm on most platforms, although I'm not on TikTok yet, but I will get on there soon. But I am on Instagram at Stargazer_sports. I'm on Twitter at the Stargazer. But the gazer, instead of an E, it's a three, and then it's two R's at the end. And I'm on Facebook at Stargazer Sports Media, and I'm on YouTube as Stargazer Sports. So, as I said, I'm so glad to be here today with Mr. Real Talk Cowboy. Um, Hopefully, we get into some things about Cowboys Nation.
It's showtime.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for joining the Stargazer. So I've just been talking about any and everything, touch bases on the draft, but we want
Okay,
to do a recap. I spoke with
right.
you and said let's do a draft recap. Don't want to hurt the folks because I know they probably draft out from most of us cowboy content creators,
Yeah,
but
I'm
hey,
sure, right?
yes, and I told them this part of the time from the ending of the draft until the practices start getting prepared for preseason. It seems so long, right? And
Right.
so we want to make sure we just hit a recap of the draft and see
Absolutely.
how you feel about the draft and our picks, as well as what I feel, right? So I'm gonna let
Right.
you go first. How do you, how do you feel about the draft overall, and then we can go and dissect each draft after that.
So overall, I feel pretty good about the draft now. On draft night, probably was feeling like, just throwing a rough grade out there, there was probably like a C,
Mhm.
C minus maybe. But as I delved more into the guys that we drafted, because I can be transparent. I didn't watch much film on Overshown. Didn't watch film on Luke. Um, I didn't even know Luke was a prospect, so that's on me, because initially when I start my whole draft process, I go to like the main, I guess, draft websites like Draft, NFL Draft Buzz, and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
of course, you listen to the draft guides and PFF and stuff through, where they tell you the prospects to keep an eye out on. And
Mhm.
so Luke was just not on my list, so that's my fault. But also like Awesome, Valami, or he just wants to go by Junior Fehoko. So a lot of
Mhm.
these prospects, of course, I did not research them or watch the film on them before we drafted them. So when I'm seeing other prospects there, like Drew Sanders, seeing prospects like Eli Ricks, I was upset because we took that corner before Deuce Vaughn, and Deuce Vaughn was my number one running back. So I was like, just to think that we could have missed out on Deuce Vaughn to get this cornerback. So it was just a lot of those thoughts. But now I'm up. I did my draft review on my channel on YouTube, and I give our draft a B plus now.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, a
Okay.
B plus. Yeah.
Got it. And I fall in the same category. Doing my pre-draft picks. A lot of these guys didn't even show up on mine, and I missed them. I didn't see them, just like Luke.
Right.
I'm like, where did he come from? I did
Yeah,
not
just
see at
no
all.
idea. Nobody had no idea who. Well, I won't say
Yeah.
nobody. There were some that did, but most, didn't really know or didn't think. Maybe not so much the content creator community did not know, but he wasn't high, I guess, on
Mhm.
people's draft boards.
Got it. So
Yeah.
since we there, how do you feel about our second round pick? Because I'm kind of like, I was like, I'm not gonna say upset. I just didn't feel like we needed a tight end because I felt that Ferguson and Hendershot could carry the team at that
Hmm.
tight end position because they was a rookie last year and now they're going into their second year. But then
Right.
I start to watch some of our friends, West Coast Cowboy and JC Cowboy and things like that, and how they
Right.
stated that, maybe they want to go back to that 3-set tight end. And so then it had
Hmm.
me thinking like, hey, maybe that's why. So now I have to take a step back and like maybe it's a reason for that. So how do you feel about that? About Luke being drafted in the second round?
So when I went through and looked at the prospects that were there was Drew Sanders, as I said before, who that was my guy I wanted us to pick. But then there was also Jalen Hyatt there, I believe, for some they're like Josh Downs and things like that. So when you look and then remember that the tight end run went at the top of the second. So all the high end tight ends literally flew off the board. So do I think that picking Luke was a reach? Yes, slightly. I don't think it was a significant reach because most people had him graded in the third, right?
Mm-hmm.
Either third round or top of the fourth. We picked at the bottom of the second, which is essentially like a third. So we reached on him, but not too much. And when you consider how the tight end run went, he wasn't going to be there at the bottom of the third.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to do a slight reach to get him. Now, when I watched his film, I realized that he has elite blocking skills, which goes beyond just, oh, he's a good blocker. Because there's a difference between I have elite blocking skills or he's a good blocker for a tight end. So there are those in that category. Like Ferguson, for instance, he's a good blocker for a tight end. He's a pretty good blocker. He finishes right. I watched film on Kittle when he was coming out. He was like the same way. He finished guys, but they're not technicians because they're not really asked to do that, or they weren't asked to do that in their respective colleges. But when
Correct.
you have somebody like Luke is a technician. Like what I see him do blocking wise is almost O lineman ish. So if not O lineman ish, so I think when you get a tight end of that caliber with that skill set, it just shows that obviously we're going to be running some 12, 13 personnel.
Correct.
In order for those things to really sell and in order for you to be able to set up defenses and things like that, you have to be able to run out of those sets, right? Because you want it to look, when you do 12 and 13 personnel, it looks like a run, but obviously you can pass out of those sets too. So when you compare his blocking ability and then his upside as a pass catcher, because I remember when I was watching film, I thought his get off was like super fast, like very fluid, basically, is the best way I can describe it to you. Kind of felt like when I was watching his film, like it was sped up how quickly he was getting off the line. So I'm like, dang, he gets off the line pretty fast. So I think when you, like I said, take the blocking ability, then you compare it or you pair it with his upside as a pass catcher, which he did some pass catching in college, but obviously I think he was brought here because of the blocking ability and compete for tight end too. But I'm with you as well. Very high on Ferguson. I don't really see him beating out Ferguson unless somehow during these OTAs he takes just a major step forward in pass catching, knows the playbook, things like that. Then that would really push Ferguson because he is a better blocker than Ferguson.
Mhm.
But I think right now he's really competing with Hendershot for that tight end 2 position because Hendershot is a great pass catcher, but he's not that great pass blocking. So that that's my overall feelings on Luke. I think I ended up grading the pick after research like a B plus. So
Yeah.
I couldn't give it an A, but I can give it a solid B plus because I think he's going to be able. Obviously, Mike drafted him for a reason, which means he's going to be used in blocking. Like I said, the different personnel packages.
Yes, yes. And so I agree. Like I said earlier, I don't know if I said it on here, but you're right. At the top of the second round, a lot of tight ends were starting to go. And you're right.
Right.
Yes.
They're flying off the board.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they was like, hey, let me hurry up and get our guy. And I also told the people here that every tight end or every person is not fit for every offense, right? So
right.
We had those two well-known tight ends that one went in the first round, I believe, and then Michael Meyer went early in the second round. They're good, right? But they might not have been for our offense, and what we're trying to do. So every player is different and every offense is different, and you have to find that person that will fit into the offense that will work for our offense, right?
Right.
Yeah,
100%. And I think that's what Luke is. He was obviously, for us to pick him that high, he's obviously a need in our offense, and that's what I was kind of trying to get through to people, because I was like, do y'all think Mike would just pick a tight end for, excuse my language, but shits and giggles? Like, he didn't just pick a tight end just so he can have his pick. Like, these are grown men with skins on the wall, Super Bowl winning coaches. Like, obviously, if they have a pick in mind, it's because they need that pick, or and they have a plan for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people were missing that. Focused so much on didn't know him, or I wasn't high on him and stuff like that, but not thinking, well, obviously, if our head coach, who's now over calling plays, if he picked him or put his cojones on the line for him, I mean, obviously he's got a plan for him. So
that's right.
Absolutely, right. I agree with you 100%.
And I will be the first one to say I was one of the ones that did not do my homework, and I was very upset at the pick. But as time go on, listening to you, like you said, looking at film and understanding, taking a step back and understanding how like the tight ends were starting to go off the board at the second round, I'm more at ease now, right? But at first I wasn't, and I guess I wanted a sexier draft. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Who doesn't? Who doesn't want a sexy? Who doesn't want Drew Sanders, Jalen Hyatt? Who doesn't want those? Who doesn't want all the guys, all the hype draft picks? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are guys that were super hyped. Like Drew Sanders, Jalen Hyatt, Josh Downs, Jonathan Mingo. I mean, all of these guys are guys that were super high. It was on everybody's draft board. So of course you want your team to draft them. Some people even wanted Nolan Smith. I personally wasn't looking, out for Nolan Smith. I watched film on him, but I was like, when is he going to play? But there were some people pissed that we passed up on Nolan Smith in the first round and took Mozzie instead. So people are, as I said, I'm like, listen, we all put a lot of hard work in the draft season. Yeah. So everybody wants to see their picks come off the guys that they researched. You want your team to pick those guys. So
yeah. Well, I didn't do much work in the draft because I was too busy setting up my platform, but I promise to do much more work and better work come the next draft round.
I saw you did but you did draft show. Like, you did draft each draft day, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so that's also super awesome. I wish I had known. I would have popped up on your platform and chatted with you during draft. But anyway, you can keep going.
let's start. Look. Whenever I'm on, I don't have a set time to go on, but whatever you see me on, pop on and come on up.
Absolutely. Now I'm always going to be popping up on your platform. So
you do that.
Know that for sure.
That's right. All right, let's get to our first round pick, Mozzie Smith. I felt that it was sexy, and it was needed, right? Because the
Absolutely.
last two playoff games with against the Rams and then against the San Francisco 49ers, they just been running up the middle on us, and we haven't had a defensive tackle to stuff that middle in a long time. So how do you feel
Absolutely.
about this pick?
Yeah, with Mozzie, I was 100% over the moon about, just like you. I was with you, over the moon about the pick because, like you said, we hadn't addressed defensive tackle in the first round since 1991.
Yeah.
So we've never invested in that. Has been, one of our Achilles heels for years.
Yes.
Is we cannot stop the run, and some people are saying, well, us being 22nd, in stopping the run, it's not that big of a deal because in like DVOA, the stat nerds, they start throwing all these stats at you. We actually finished fifth, all this stuff. But I'm like,
Uh-huh.
guys, not having a nose tackle, not having guys that can sustain and hold their blocks and push back the pocket has killed us.
Yes.
Has literally killed us. It killed us in 2018,
Yes.
right? Versus the Rams.
Yes.
Killed us. The running game in the 2021, we could not stop the run.
That's right.
That's why we made all of our defensive tackles bulk up. Everybody gained weight. Osa put on 15 pounds of put on 15 pounds of muscle. Neville bulked up because they try to move Neville to one tech and all of this stuff. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
try to do all of these experiments. Moving made Chauncey gain about 15 pounds of muscle because they wanted to kick him inside. So, and still who did I watch? I watched earlier. I don't know if you guys know, but he's another content creator, DMV.
D-
And he,
you said DMV?
yeah, DMV.
Okay, I'm gonna check him out.
DMV fanatic. He put out a breakdown, and I thought that was awesome. So I'm shouting him out here. I'm gonna shout him out on my Twitters as well because I watched his video and he did a breakdown basically like how Mozzie should be used. But in that breakdown, he also showed film on how our defensive line, like, even though we love Osa and we, people on the bubble about Neville, but people love, Chauncey Golston. When we went up against the Eagles, when we went up against dominant offensive lines, we were getting pushed off the ball.
Yes, we were.
The Eagles were destroying us off the ball. Like, so when you have a guy, that's why, I don't know if y'all saw, but when we picked Mozzie, Michael's like, no more QB sneak and all this stuff because do you know, like, it's just humiliating. You know what I'm saying? When, like, like somebody can do something to you, but there's like nothing you can do about it. And like, that's pretty much what has been happening to us for years. Like, we just been getting ran through like a cheap hooker on the side of the street. So it's like, we needed help. So Mozzie, with his super Hulk strength, should be able to help us, based on what we saw on film. He should be able to help us off the run, but also have an upside for pass rush.
Yes. And it was reported that he was the strongest defensive lineman out of that draft class.
Yeah, he
and
absolutely was.
Yes, so I'm pretty sure people have seen some of the film where he was bench pressing and hopping up the steps and things like that. Law Nation even put out video of that as well. So
Yep.
I'm very excited because I feel like with his presence, it should be able to allow Micah to eat and do his thing on the end, as well as the linebackers as well, right? So hopefully that will help everybody be able to eat more with him in that middle and with his strength, plugging up that middle and stopping that run up the middle a lot.
Right. I agree with you 100%. And I think also Law Nation had mentioned this as well. He was like, having Mozzie in the room is going to also push Big Bo, right? Because Big Bo started off the season doing fairly well, but like after he got injured, he kind of tailed off. And so having a guy like Mozzie, who obviously they play the same position, it's going to push him to even get his weight up and be better. But our coach, our defensive line coach, Aiden Dirty, it was right after we picked Mozzie. He was on Cowboys YouTube channel on the draft show. And he was saying how Mozzie's swagger is just like super infectious. So his whole demeanor is just going to really do something for the defense, because they know how important it is to have a big guy in the middle, and they haven't had that. So I think everybody's going to be pumped, or everybody already is excited
everybody
to have.
already is.
Yeah, just have Mozzie in the building, 100%. Yep.
And best believe teams gonna think twice and have a game plan for him, because they know his strength and how much he can affect a game.
Absolutely, they've seen it. They saw what he did to Ohio State line. They saw that. They saw what he did to Steve Avila.
Yeah.
People see that's on film. So
yes.
we definitely we ready over here with Mozzie. It's gonna elevate. This was the missing piece that our defense needed.
Yes.
So I really expect our defense to finish. Our defense should finish top of the league this year.
Yes.
Top 5 at the worst. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how I feel. That's how it better be. I say it like that.
Yes.
We better be finishing top 5.
I feel the same way. Same way. So that brings us into pick number 3, Overshown. I feel that this was a great pick, and we needed it, because if we look back last year, how we were using our safeties and bringing them up playing like linebackers, and if you remember or not, both of them got hurt last year doing that.
They sure did. They sure did.
So how do you feel about this pick, and how do you feel about Overshown? And I will say, I haven't watched any film on him yet. So I am like completely lost about him.
Okay, so with Overshown, now I ended up after the draft, I still gave the pick a C. And I think I gave him a C because I see why Dan Quinn picked him. He is very physical. He's fast, you know what I'm saying? And that's what Dan Quinn loves. Fast and physical, right? So he's fast. He's super fast. I think he ran like a low 4.5. So he's fast for a linebacker. I'm not talking about he's like Micah, like 4.3, but he's 4.5 guy. I think he's like 6'1", has a pretty good wingspan. Has great hustle and pursuit to the ball. As I said, mean. So when he hits somebody, he wanna lay you out. I say it's great pursuit because he made the same backside tackle on Jahmyr Gibbs and Deuce Vaughn, where it was like an outside zone and he was in the middle of the field, because he actually played strong side linebacker for Texas. I thought he played middle, but no, he played strong side. So he's literally way across the field, and he literally, because of his hustle and pursuit, lays them out. Like clear across the field, running past guys. So he's that guy. He could just kind of run like a chicken with his head cut off. The reason why I still gave the pick a C is because I had ready to go linebacker still on the board. And so I think he's raw. And this is a guy that Dan Quinn got because he doesn't really care like where your floor is. If he thinks you have a high ceiling, he's going to get you because he believes that he can coach you up. So Overshown, he's really new to the position. This past season, it was only his second season playing linebacker. So he's not really too familiar on, what he's seeing. So you don't really want him in a thinking position, hence why he wasn't the middle linebacker. And then as well, because he's only been a linebacker for 2 years, his frame is pretty small, like his weight. And so he does not have block shedding ability at all. Like none at all. So it's like if a guard or tackle, get their hands on him, and I'm not saying he's never been able to shed blocks, because people who love Overshown will show you a couple of clips, where he, bounced a guard off of him. But I'm like, okay, guys, but when you watch the film, like, just keep letting it play. 9 times out of 10, he's going to be stonewalled.
Mm-hmm.
He does have blitz ability, but again, if they pick him up, he cannot shed blocks. So that's my knock on him, because for a linebacker, unless you're a weak side linebacker, you need to be able to shed blocks. So, but maybe he'll play the weak side linebacker where he won't even be responsible for that. But we did hear on the draft show as well that the defensive line is going to be focused more about attacking their keys and attacking their man and pushing them back, which can leave the lanes open for the linebackers.
Yeah.
Because we struggle, because our philosophy, which I didn't even know that. I thought that was just Rob Marinelli, but no, our philosophy has still been you stop the run on the way to the quarterback. Like, it's been focused on getting to the backfield. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. That's
According to what's his name, Coach Floyd Sharif, who's our assistant defensive line coach, he was like, it's been, get up field, but now we're going to focus on attacking our keys, basically pushing your man back so that the linebackers can flow free. Wow. So that's something that we're going to see different in our defensive tackles, or defensive line. Now they'll be focused on collapsing or attacking their guys so that our linebackers can stop getting freaking guards on them. Because to be honest, we know there's only certain special linebackers that can actually shed blocks because it's something that's is pretty difficult for their smaller frame. They're not a defensive end or tackle. They're smaller than them. So to be shedding blocks on 300-pound linemen is kind of difficult. So
wow. Well, you didn't taught me something tonight. I didn't know that. But well, then that that speaks to what been going on.
Right.
So
we saw the philosophy change though in the 49ers game. We saw where the defense, because they didn't run on us. The 49ers, we held their defense to 19 points. So, I mean, their offense, we held their offense to 19 points. And that was through what? Them being able to sustain their blocks, allowing the linebackers to feel, so that's essentially, how they switched their philosophy. So,
okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be looking out, and I want to see how Overshown had his ability to play, and because we're gonna need someone. I just think that Vanishaw is. I don't know. He's been hurt a lot, and I don't know. I mean, last year he had a great season. I would give it to him. He had
LVE. You talking about LVE?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He had a great season. I ain't gonna say great, but it was a good season comeback because he's been hurt a lot. And so I feel like he came back and proved himself last season, and that's what I believe helped him get re-signed with his last season play.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100% on that. He definitely, LVE is a really good linebacker. He's been playing out of position because he's not really truly in the NFL. When he was a star, he was not a middle linebacker. That was Jalen Smith. He was a weak side linebacker. Because we can see he's a great open field tackler. He's got good pursuit, but where he suffers from is he doesn't really like to feel. And so he doesn't like to feel, he doesn't like to hit those gaps. He's very smart, he's super smart, knows the playbook through and through. Dan Quinn loves LVE because when LVE was out, our defense was lost because LVE is the brains on that defense. And so it's it makes sense to put him at middle linebacker because of how smart he is. But when it comes to how he plays, it's I don't know but he can feel, he just doesn't like to. You can tell.
That's what I was about to say. I don't
he really didn't start feeling and hitting gaps till Damone came, which I think it was more so. Some people think that it was Damone putting pressure, but I think it was more so just him and Damone had similar injuries. So I think it just was encouragement because I think LVE has just been kind of been playing scared. But I think his true position is you do want LVE not having to take on as many blocks, because I think if he could just fly around you would see a lot better LVE
I
because he's
agree.
also pretty good in pass coverage as well. He can run the linebackers, tight ends, and stuff like that, but he just it's that feeling he doesn't want to fill his gaps. He catches to tackle sometimes that really piss people off. So if he can, get out of his head and do it more consistently, I think everybody would be high on him because everybody who's low on him is simply because of that. Like he won't penetrate the gap and all that stuff. So
Yeah. I must agree with that. I must
yeah.
agree. All right. Pick number 4. The edge guy from San Jose State. How do you pronounce his name? For he
Fahoko.
for Hoko.
Fahoko, just like Simi.
Okay, yes.
Fahoko.
How do you feel about him? I think this was a great pickup. It's somebody that could, get behind Micah and them and learn a lot and actually rotate in and out to give them breathers.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I graded him out as an A pick. Based on what we got him, he was Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. He had like 19 tackles for loss in 2022 and 10 sacks. So this kid, he really does. He has a super high motor. He's very violent with his hands. He's physical. He's big enough to move, to kick in on the inside, and the coaches, defensive line coaches, confirm that as well. So overall, I think he's a great pick. He's a lot of fun. I think, just like you said, he's going to be a rotational guy, a guy that fills in if somebody gets hurt or something like that. I don't expect him to come in and take anybody's job, but I do expect him to come in and learn and be a good depth piece.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Pick number 6. Eric Scott Jr., cornerback out of Southern Miss. Right here, I haven't watched any film on him. I just know what they, stated during the draft when they drafted him and things like that, but haven't got into like the depth of his game and all of what he can do. Have you done that yet?
Yes. So I've looked at his film. I give him a D. He's pretty much was picked because of traits. I think he had like the second longest wingspan of all the corners. Dan Quinn and his traits. So, he's got some ball. What's it called? He's got some ball skills. Considering I think he had 2 picks in 2022, and he returned both of them for pick 6s. So he's got that ability. But when you watch his film, he hates tackling. Like he hates. Y'all say y'all hate Diggs. Like y'all would hate this. Y'all would hate this guy 10 times more because he just totally. I mean, at least Diggs will try to like throw his shoulder in there. You know what I'm saying? This guy,
That's
like,
what Diggs
totally,
do.
yeah. No, I'm saying Diggs will do that, but I'm saying this guy, like, he just stands flat-footed, looks at like he don't want no parts.
Oh, okay.
He wants 0 parts of tackling. Stopping the run. When it comes to him being a corner, he's got okay coverage skills. That's what I would say. He gets beat, he wins a rep. He gets beat, he wins a rep. So, but I mean, he's a 6th round pick, so and he went to a small school. So some of the content creators, I haven't gotten into our undrafted free agents film, but there's some guys that some corners that we picked up that they say he's better. They're better than him.
Wow.
And then you also think, we picked him when we could have picked Eli Ricks out of Alabama, who ended up signing with the Eagles. So I give it a D, but we'll see. We'll see. But he's giving me. You remember Reggie Robinson from the 2020 draft?
I do.
Yeah, he's giving me Reggie Robinson vibes, which we know what happened to him. Never got on the field, switched his position 20,000 times, and he was cut. So
wow.
I think that's the vibes he get. He could prove me wrong. He could prove me wrong, but from the film, I'm like, he's okay. I don't think he's great. Maybe he can be a special teams ace. Maybe.
Okay. All right. Pick number 6, and this is my second favorite pick And I'm just so surprised that he lasted this long. And this is
Yep.
Deuce Vaughn. Uh, what do you have to say about him? Because like I said, this is my second favorite pick out of this whole entire draft.
Right. Deuce is my guy, 100%. I was super duper excited that we got Deuce. As I said earlier, I was pissed because I was like, when I went back, because I was like, we picked this corner over Deuce. We could have lost Deuce because Deuce had no business uh to me being in the sixth
I agree.
round.
I
I
agree.
think even with his height, I know everybody, he's 5'5" and he weighs this, whatever. But I'm like, even with that, like, should that have knocked him down to the sixth round with the production that this kid put up? Not only production, but I mean, you can clearly see in his film. I mean, this was a bell cow back for
Mhm.
Kansas State. I mean, he pass blocks well, catches the ball very well. I did a whole video on how Mike McCarthy literally said his plan for him is Randall Cobbish. So,
Mm.
um, this guy is, I mean, he's super electric. He was the most exciting draft prospect out of all the draft prospects that I watched. He was the most exciting to watch on film. So I ended up putting him as my running back one over Gibbs and Bijan because that's what I felt. I was like, if Deuce was 5'10", if he was 5 inches taller, like it wouldn't be crazy that I put him ahead of them because he would be in that top 3 category. There were some people that had Gibbs over Bijan,
Mhm.
so I think he would be right up there, but people obviously didn't put him up there because of his weight.
Got
But he definitely should not have been no 6th round pick, just based off of, like I said, talent, production. And you're playing for a pretty big school. It's not like he played for K-State. He didn't play for Southern
this.
Mississippi or, some
Yeah.
small school. Like he played for a huge school,
Yep.
won the Big 12 championship against TCU. Like,
And then
anyway,
and
but
we
yeah.
have gotten in the past have gotten some good players out of K State.
Mhm.
Terrence Newman, right? He was a cornerback out
Yeah.
of K State. So
Yeah. K
yeah,
State totally, yeah. So there was no reason, there's no reason for him to drop, but I'm super excited for having Deuce. I hope that he can compete for. I hope we have a plan for him. I just don't, because our coaches in the past have a history of getting players and not using them.
mhm,
So I really hope that we use him. Like I want him to get on the field, like figure out something where there's returning punts. I don't know, doing some jet sweeps, whatever. But I want him to be on the field. I do think that he can compete. Excuse me, he can compete with Ronald Jones
yeah,
for RB2. I think he's better than Ronald Jones. I mean, no knock to Ronald Jones. I think he's great, but I think just Deuce is obviously just light years better than him. When it comes to being electric, uh, his agility. I mean, all of those things. So, 100% excited about Deuce.
yeah. And I hope, like I said, I was talking earlier. I don't know how long Tony Pollard is out. Will be out. At the beginning of the season. But whatever,
Yeah.
I still think we need to do that two-headed running back, how we switch up, because it tires the defense down and it also rests the running backs, And so I hope we're able
Right.
to still do that with Zeke gone.
Right. I agree. We definitely need to keep the tandem. And Deuce is a guy that he runs. People are labeling him as a scat back, and he is not a scat back. As I
Mhm.
said, like he's a bell cow back. So he runs great between the tackles. He runs great outside the tackles. So I don't want I hope they don't try to, oh, we're just gonna have you do this type because this is what we think, you should be doing when he's shown you he can be a pace back, I can run through the middle, get us a steady 10 yards, like Zeke. Now he obviously does not have the frame. I am not saying that he is Zeke. Nobody in this century, right? No, not century, but yeah, I think nobody in the last 10 years has had the college film of a running back as Ezekiel Elliott. So I'm not saying that he's Zeke, but I do think that with Zeke, with I'm still praying we get Zeke back, but I do think with Deuce you can pace a game.
Yeah. And I was saying earlier as well, even though Zeke has taken a beating over the years he has played, and also like kind of slowed down, that's with age, and the wear and tear, I still feel he's a great short yardage guy. And also, hey, you mess around and not tackle him, he can, stretch the field as
Right.
well. So,
Zeke,
um,
yep, 100%. I agree with you. I had so many arguments with people about saying that Zeke is washed. Zeke is in no way washed. I did another video just last night on my late night show breaking down our offensive line and how our offensive line scheme changed and how, Zeke has been a back. I just watched today our 2016 divisional playoff game versus the Packers. Just watch it again because there's just always narratives that people will say, like I remember Dak was terrible. He was out that whole game, whole first half. And I'm like, was he? Because at the half it was 13-21. But anyway, so just going back and watching, what we did, and I'm like, one, our offensive line was just so freaking dominant. I mean, I literally said like every person on our offensive line were maulers in the run game,
mhm.
and Zeke also had a fullback, and that's really where Zeke thrives. Like he is a downhill, inside zone power run, gap running type of back,
Yeah.
and primarily. I didn't even know this, but we have been running outside zone schemes. So uh there's just reasons, when you have a back as dynamic as Zeke, and when you see, everybody every time 2021, 2020, there's like, oh, Zeke's got the burst, he looks real good. And then, when he tails off because he freaking got hurt, not because his knee, well,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like his knee is deteriorating, like his leg literally got flipped back. Like anybody,
Yeah.
if that happens to anybody, like you're gonna be hurt. And Zeke is a guy that plays hurt.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
unfortunately for him, was we hate when players play hurt because when they play hurt, we just say they're trash and wash. So
Yeah.
it's sad, but yeah.
Yeah.
I still hope we can get Zeke back eventually.
I'm hoping too, and I've seen a lot of reports saying that we haven't closed the door on that possibility either. And,
Right.
and then I kind of wonder, like, if he comes back now, has to get a new number because you didn't gave 21 away. With-
He
yeah,
could go
yep,
back,
yep. To go
go
back.
back to his Ohio State. Like I really hope we, bro. It's just like we just can't imagine. Like, bro, we win the Super Bowl, we get to the Super Bowl, and we don't have Zeke. It's like
It
this
would be
guy.
crushing.
This guy was our guy like for years. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like to have another Cowboys great leave out of here without getting a trophy from us, like that,
yeah,
that sucks. Like I really don't want to see that. I really don't
yeah.
want to see that.
I
The Super
agree.
Bowl where Zeke can't be there, with Dak. They done everything together.
Yeah,
When Zeke got released, like Dak was posting pictures and everything. Like Zeke is his friend for real. So it's like that sucks. You know what I'm saying? If you can get to the pinnacle finally, because they've had to deal with a lot, changes of scheme, bad coaching, both of them injuries. They've been through a lot.
yeah.
So Zeke went through that legal issue in 2017. Dak's brother committed suicide. Like they've been through a lot. So,
Yeah,
and it seems now that the freaking stars are aligning. And for him to not be here when we're about to switch to an inside zone, downhill running scheme again, like that sucks. That really sucks. Cause it's like, yeah, but
yeah.
I
I
don't want
totally
to talk too much
agree.
about Zeke, but it's just like it's sad. That's all I
Yeah.
can say.
Yes, we have a comment from Facebook. Pierre Johnson, running game will take the stress off Dak throwing interceptions. I would say it would take the stress off him, period. And hopefully, with the play calling of Mike, that we won't be throwing over 40 times a game. And
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
if you go back and see the games that we're throwing over 40 times a game, we end up losing. If
It's
we stay right around the
absolutely.
30, 35, 35 is pushing it, but I feel if we stay around the 30, range of throwing the ball. That
25 to 30 times.
Yes.
Dak really thrives. Law put the numbers out. Dak plays almost perfect when he plays. I think he says 25 to 28 times or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you're 100% right. Like, it's not good for any quarterback. Y'all can go over another guy to plug. I'm just plugging guys, but I mean, these are guys that already did the research. Like Henny the Moore already wrote an article. His channel is HTM Sports, but he already wrote an article about how it's not good for any quarterback. How quarterbacks' winning percentages plummet when they had to pass the ball 30 to 35 times. Like, it's not good. It's not good for them. And not good for them because there's just so much stuff that can go wrong with the pass. Your quarterback can get hurt. Your offensive lineman can get hurt. Your wide receivers could get hurt. Or your wide receivers can drop the ball. That happened to Dak. Wide receivers dropping the ball, bobbling the ball. Now it's an interception. There's so much to go wrong. Even Troy Aikman said that Jimmy Johnson told him, I don't want you passing that much. Like, I know if I keep you at this number, you're going to be, because what is Troy Aikman known for? His accuracy, right? He was extremely accurate. But it's like, when you're putting too much on your quarterback, they can't function. Like, it's not that they can't function, but the more you keep passing, just the more things can go wrong.
That's right.
Period. You know what I'm saying? So it's not
only on the quarterback, because we see a lot of stuff. A lot of those interceptions are not on Dak. It's from the wide receivers as well.
100%. That's what I was saying. Wide receivers dropping balls. Wide receivers sabotaging Dak. Literally in the 49ers game. Like, what Michael Gallup did on that first interception was a sabotage. And I don't care what he says. I think Michael Gallup got mad at Law, but he knows he effed up. Like, there is no way. It was the same route we saw. What's his name? T.Y. ran on the other side. It was a comeback route.
Yep.
You did not come back to the ball. You literally hesitated, then went out. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, everybody says, every analyst, Fred Warner, Mike Martz, JT Sullivan, all these quarterback guys were literally like, that is quarterback sabotage.
Yeah.
So only Michael Gallup thinks that he didn't mess up. It's only him. It's like, no, I didn't mess up. It's like, yes, you did, because it doesn't even matter. Like, even Mike Martz said it. He was like, if y'all don't know Mike Martz, he's the coach of The Greatest Show on Turf.
Mm-hmm.
He's the coach of that team. So he literally said, like, yeah, the ball was a little bit late. Like, I'm not going to lie, it was late. But he was like, even if it was a little bit late, like, that should have not been an interception. At the worst, it's a drop ball or a batted down ball, but an interception?
Yes.
Like, these wide receivers, watching today, like the 2016 divisional game, let people tell it, it's like, oh, Dak couldn't do it. He couldn't, he was struggling that first half. I'm like, did y'all see how many drop balls, drop touchdowns?
Correct. Yes.
Our wide receivers being snowflakes at the point of attack, not attacking the ball. Like, Dak was throwing the ball. Like, they let people tell it. They be saying, like, Dak was just missing throw. I'm like, he was literally throwing. Bryce Butler, he hit him, or it was Bryce Butler or Terrence Williams, he hit him in his chest, bounced the ball right off his chest, fell to the ground. So I'm just like, Dak been getting sabotaged, bro. Like, if Dak had AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase and Travis Kelce and Justin Jefferson, do y'all know what Dak would do with those wide receivers?
That's right.
T. Higgins, like, come on now. Like, y'all got to be real about it.
Yeah, and that's why I said earlier, too, that, I felt JJ in the front office failed us, not last year, but the year before, when they got rid of Amari Cooper for little or nothing. So I don't think it was about the money. It was just that I think
they hated him. They was mad at Amari.
He wasn't wearing his mask like they wanted him to. He was at the game, the Dallas Mavericks game.
Definitely about the CV. Don't want to say the word because you get flagged, but it was definitely about that. Like, that was what they did to Amari Cooper, like it was really just disgusting. Like how they did him. Like Amari Cooper, this man took a pay cut to come here. Then
Yep,
we find out he was gonna take another pay cut. They didn't even offer it to him. Like
that's
he
right.
wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy, period. And the front office just cut him like he was trash. You know what I'm saying? Like that was I still don't get that move to this day. Like that was what you call a straight up non-football decision, like
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yeah.
So definitely it's sad, but
Yep. Yep.
he's a
I,
Brown now, so
yes.
he's an op, unfortunately.
Yep.
But
So speaking of wide receivers, that takes us to our final round, round 7 pick, which is Jalen Brooks, wide receiver out of South Carolina. And here again, I haven't done any research or watched any film on Brooks. But tell me what you think.
Brooks is really good. I gave him like a B, I think, a B or a B plus. He was surprisingly good. I didn't know him at all. You know what I'm saying? He played for South Carolina. And I think we ended up getting him because he gave Ringo the business. When they played Georgia, he was like he was their leading wide receiver in that game. Was
Mm-hmm.
killing Ringo on stop routes, drag routes, was killing Ringo. And as y'all know, Ringo went to the ops. So I think, I'm just being funny, but he's pretty good. He can be utilized out of the backfield because they kind of use him out of the backfield like a running back a little bit. Like on what do you call those? I want to say I can't think of like the curve route, but basically they threw him the ball out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
He also is good on drag routes, really good on stop routes. Um, I think it was last year he had that crazy one-handed catch. Like if you type in his highlight reel, like that's for sure gonna be in there. So he definitely has some ability and he blocks really well. So I really think he was brought in to be a potential Noah Brown replacement as a fifth wide receiver. As we know, our fourth wide receiver is a competition between Tolbert and Simi Fehoko.
Yeah.
And so that fifth is up to, I'm guessing, Turpin, but we still got undrafted free agents from last year on the roster. So we got a lot of guys on this roster. So training camp is gonna be a gauntlet because it's just gonna be survival of fittest. It's gonna be real hard, I feel like, to make this 53. And it
Mm-hmm.
seems like with the new regime change, like it's no positions are given. Like if you listen to our offensive line coach, he's like, listen, we're gonna figure out who's the best five. Like it seems like because he don't know these guys like Philbin did, like Philbin didn't want Tyler Smith, and he made sure Tyler Smith was gonna be the backup,
Mm-hmm.
over behind Connor McGovern. But our new offensive line coach, like he don't. I will say the only two guys that are for sure is Tyron and Zach Martin. And just because how he spoke about them, like those are the leaders. So
Yeah.
those are Hall of
Mm-hmm.
Famers. But everybody else, like Tyler, be honest, everybody else position is on the bubble. Everybody else's position is going to have to be 100% earned. And I think that's how it should be because that's how you
Yeah.
get the
Of
best
course.
people.
That's right.
Last year, we were sitting some guys like last year. I'm like, why are we sitting Noah Brown and Dorrance Armstrong in the preseason? Like they just really solidified their spots. Like, come on now. Like we didn't even give like Noah Brown should have been out there competing.
I
Maybe
agree.
he could have got replaced with Simi. Like he
Yeah.
should have been out there competing. He should not have been on the bench of, yep, I'm going to be the number 2 wide receiver. Like that was ridiculous. But anyway, it is what it is. That was our old coach.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to
So
see more out of Tolbert as well. But I
yeah.
feel that I forgot his name. I'm getting old. Number 13.
Oh, Gallup.
Gallup. I
Gallup.
felt like he
Mm-hmm.
came on strong towards the end. And I'm so anxious to see him play and see how it goes because what he done before he got injured and then got his contract while he was injured, I felt like
Right.
that's what we needed. And so I'm just waiting to see if he's going to continue getting better or he's going to end up getting replaced.
Yep, this is a big year for Gallup, because we gave him the same, like basically the Amari Cooper contract, which is like it's basically 2 years with like 3 voidable years.
Mhm.
So if he doesn't do something this year, I think he definitely is going to be on the bubble. Obviously, last year he was rushed out there. He should
Yeah.
not have been out there.
Yes.
He
Yep.
should not have returned till maybe Green Bay, possibly the Vikings game. But we rushed him out there, and he did not perform up to par. But also another reason: look at the scheme that we were running. A lot
Mhm.
of stop routes, a lot of curls. That's probably the last thing you want a receiver who just came off what was it, a torn ACL or torn MCL. Like
Yes,
that's the last types of routes that you want them running.
that's so true.
So, like in college, Michael Gallup was a drag slant. He was a yak guy as well. So, Michael Gallup has also not been used to his full potential under Kellen Moore. So we see there's a lot of guys, a lot of our stars or a lot of guys that we were sure about, they started waning. They started declining under Kellen Moore.
Mhm.
Like he's literally, for lack of a better word, a star killer. Like all your stars start to look real weird in his system. Like, Amari Cooper only had 800 yards because he wasn't targeting him. Those types of things. There's a lot of issues with Kellen Moore. So
Yeah.
that's why we celebrate, right, that he's gone.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
A
And looking
huge,
forward,
huge celebration that he's gone.
yes, yes, looking forward to the new regime. And hopefully, we can do some things and get back to winning Super Bowls.
Yep.
I just
That's
have
exactly what
one.
we want to do.
That's right. I just have one concern that we didn't pick up a offensive lineman. Like, what do we do if Tyron get hurt again? I know a lot
Yeah.
of shifting gonna happen, but like, what do
You
we
forgot
do?
about our 5th round pick. We didn't talk about him. Austin
You know what?
Richards, our tackle from North Carolina.
You are so right. How do I miss that?
No, it's okay. I think,
Okay, I totally missed it. I had my sheet printed out, and I don't know
yeah, you
how.
missed.
Oh, let's talk about him.
Yeah.
You're so right.
Yeah. So, one, the left guard position, that is the one position that they're trying to find out who is 100% right for that position,
Mhm.
because they try to ask Will McClay, they try to ask the offensive line coach, like, who's going to play left guard? Because, of course, that's
Mhm.
what we all was wondering. Because I was team before the draft, we need to make our offensive line elite again. I want top 5. We need to go in here. We need to get one of those tackles. Darnell Wright, Broderick Jones was my guy. Perry Johnson Jr. We need to trade up. Like, we got to get one of these guys. We didn't do that. So, a lot of people, and that's really why people were low on the draft, because we did not get an offensive lineman in the high rounds.
Mhm.
But going through and looking at Awesome's film, he has technical issues, but everything you want out of a tackle and a guard, he has it. But his feet, not that he has bad feet, but I say his feet are a mess technically.
Mhm.
But he does things sometimes, and then sometimes he doesn't do them. So he really just needs to be coached up. I don't know why these offensive linemen coach. I mean, Tyler Smith had the same issue. It's like, why did y'all let him play like this? Like, what? Why didn't y'all coach up his technique? I don't know why. I've been meaning to ask one of the offensive line gurus in our community, Vach or the
Mhm.
OC, like, why do these offensive linemen coach let these guys have this poor technique, knowing that you cannot play like that in the league?
Yeah.
So, but I honestly think, but yeah, he's really powerful. He had some fun tape against Miles Murphy, was a 1st round pick. He had good tape against Isaiah Foskey out of Notre Dame. I think he was a top three rounds. I'm not sure where he went, but I think he went in the top 3 rounds. Defensive end. He also had a film last year against Jermaine Johnson. So which we know went in, I think, the second round to the Jets last year. So all the tools, he's got everything. He's got length. He's got the athletic ability. He's got the meanness. You can see it on tape. He just needs to be coached up to get his technical things in order. And I think, send him to Duke, Manyweather, who we send all of our offensive lines to. And Duke should clean him right up, just like he cleaned up Tyler Smith. So I think one off season with Duke, he's going to be looking great. So I don't think the position is his per se to lose, but I do think, he's in the running for it. Awesome is in the running. Also, the tackle / guard that we got, Chuma Ndoga, as well. He's also in the running for it because he also has some good tools at his belt. We still got Avante Collins. So we got a lot of guys. They're talking about they're switching Josh Ball to guard. So we have a lot of guys that are going to compete for that spot. And so that's what I was saying. I'm going to shameless plug. If y'all go to my channel, Stargazer Sports, I literally went through an in-depth view of our offensive line and like why we're going to be dominant this year. And I was saying that I think we've been too focused on the personnel. I think we have the personnel. We have our left guard in the building. He just got to be coached up. And we have not only connections with Duke Manyweather in Dallas, but also who's like the offensive line guru in the nation. But we also have Coach Mike Solari, who is our offensive line coach, who I go into an in-depth review of him and his previous offensive lines in Seattle and when he was the offensive line coach in the 49ers land. So we have the coaches there to coach these guys up. I think out of Chuma Ndoga, Awesome, Ball, Avante, one of those guys are going to be our left guard.
Okay.
And I think they're going to be darn good at it. Like it's not going to be like I think one of those guys can solidify themselves as our starting left guard, and I don't think anybody is going to have a problem with it.
Wow.
I just think they got to be coached. Like they got to be coached up. And Philbin was not. No offense, but Philbin was not the greatest of coaches, offensive line coaches. Because I also talk about him and his offensive line philosophy and stuff like that. Because I'm like, wasn't the best, but anyway. But yeah, I think we got the personnel in the building with our offensive line. I think it's just we gonna find out at camp who it is. You know what I'm saying? And they could bring in Dalton Reisner from Broncos land. That's a great guard. Like there's still guys out there on the streets that we can bring in. If we say, we want to bring in some extra competition. So we really are going to find out at camp who our left guard is going to be. So Cowboys Nation, if y'all listening, stop panicking. I know we all wanted that offensive lineman in the draft. We did not get it, but I think we got him in the building. We got to stop panicking. We got to trust the process. We got to trust our coaches. We are scarred because we have been under Kellen Moore for years. So we are panicking, right? We don't think like, God, can these players we didn't see? I'm like, okay, but there's coaches. We got new coaches. We got to remember that. We got new coaches. We got a new offensive philosophy. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well, folks, I'm going to go look at that video that you produced, and I'm sure I'm going to feel a lot better after that and not as nervous as I have been. So I'm going to go watch it, and I suggest you all go watch it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, guys, if y'all go to my channel, Stargazer Sports, I do an in-depth, review of it. And literally somebody commented today, and it really made me happy. He was like, wow, I feel a lot better about offensive line. I'm like, yeah. So, and that's, why I made it, because I think people are, it's just it's a slight panic. I'm not saying people are like, screaming, but there's a slight panic in a lot of fans in Cowboys Nation because they're like, this offensive line has got to get better. And, I really think it comes from, I'm sorry, I'm talking a little bit too much, but
no, you're not.
I really,
you're good.
I really think it comes from watching that Eagles offensive line. Like, I don't care what no one says. I don't know what PFF ranked it or not, but the Eagles offensive line was the best line in football this year.
Yes, I agree.
Those, not only are they huge, but like the mauler mentality, the push off the ball mentality, the cohesiveness of the line. And the thing is, they like maybe one or two of them had to miss like a couple of games, but they got to pretty much keep that starting five all season. And Mike said that like your win percentage is literally tied to your offensive line. Like if you can keep your offensive line the same five, if you can have that same five as you started off with going in the playoffs, like it's directly tied to like a high win percentage. So, hopefully with our scheme and stuff like that, because I was pissed off last year when Terrence still got hurt because it was Kellen Moore passing the ball. We didn't need to do that,
right.
and he got him hurt.
That's right. I remember. I got pissed
right,
too.
yeah. And when Terrence still went down, our running game went to hell. So it's just like, hopefully, we're gonna allow our guys to do what they do best.
Yeah.
Zach Martin, Tyler Smith, Terrence Steele. Those guys are maulers. They want to push off the ball. They want to get their hands on somebody, and they want to pancake them. They want to slam them to the ground. So I want, and Coach Mike Solari said that our theme, our offensive line philosophy this year is finish. It's about finishing, guys. Finish your block. Because that is something that we didn't see. Even in Hall of Famer Zach Martin, there was no finish of blocks. It was a lot of on the ground. I didn't like that. I don't like to see my offensive line on the ground constantly. So, but as I said, it seemed to be, because I almost made, and I still might make it, had Zach Martin regrets video. Because it was just frustrating seeing him like, what is he doing? But I think, it was the scheme that messes up. So hopefully this year we fit the scheme to the players, and we'll see a resurgence of dominance. Is what I'm hoping and praying for.
Hey, me too. Me too. Well, Stargazer, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming over here in the grown and sexy cigar lounge with your boy, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy. I appreciate you. Know this is your home. Just like, come in whenever you want, and I'll pull you right up. I was telling them earlier, like, she just doesn't watch football. She watched football and she knows her stuff. You all just wait to get on here and you all will see. So, like, again, I appreciate you. Whenever I'm on, whenever you want to come on, just hit me up and you're on. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy, for having me on your show. I was so happy, when you invited me. Want to collab with more content creators and things like that. And so I'm very appreciative of this moment you allow me to come on your platform. Hopefully this will not be the last time I'm on your platform. I'm probably gonna have you on my platform because I really like, our vibe, because different content creators, if you vibe with them, then you do shows with them. So I definitely, like the vibe between us. And hopefully we can continue to do some collabs in the future, educating and talking and encouraging Cowboys Nation. So
that's right. Absolutely. That's what it's
absolutely
all about. Hey, Cowboy Nation, it's your boy, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy. We have Stargazer here on. Please go and follow her on all of her social media platforms. Send her some cash apps, support her as she is very knowledgeable, as you all can see. She just doesn't watch football, but she knows football, and that's what I like about her. Again, we thank you all for watching. Go support her on all of her social media platform, as well as myself, Mr. Real Talk Cowboy. I am on podcast now, as well as Patreon. So go ahead over there and subscribe and follow, folks. Again, we thank you all. Stargazer, thank you so much again. And we look forward to the next time you joining the show, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good night.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Stargazer. I appreciate it.
Thank you.